A sunny afternoon at Fort Hamilton Military Base, where the air hums with the distant roar of training drills and the sharp scent of fresh-cut grass mixed with diesel exhaust. Suddenly, chaos erupts in the parking lot. A middle-aged woman, wild-eyed and screaming, launches herself at a young army cadet like a bull in a china shop. Why? Because she thinks he's parked in her spot. And she's about to learn the hard way that messing with the military doesn't end well. Meet Susan Hargrove, your classic entitled Karen. With her perfectly coiffed blonde bob, oversized sunglasses perched on her nose, and a designer purse swinging like a weapon. She'd driven onto the base that day to pick up her nephew from a visitor's program. But her blood boiled when she saw Cadet Jake Thompson's modest sedan in what she deemed the prime parking space near the entrance. Jake, a fresh-faced 22-year-old from a small town in Ohio, was just wrapping up his shift. His uniform starched and boots polished to a mirror shine. He sighed deeply as he slung his backpack over one shoulder. The weight of a long day pressing on him, little did he know. His real battle was about to begin. Without a word of warning, Susan stormed out of her SUV, her heels clicking furiously on the pavement like rapid gunfire. "How dare you park here? You little punk! This is reserved for civilians," she shrieked, her voice piercing the air like a siren, drawing stares from passers-by. Jake blinked in confusion, his heart pounding as he raised his hands placatingly. "Ma'am, this is open parking. I'm sorry if there's a misunderstanding," but Susan wasn't having it. "Oh no." She escalated in seconds, shoving him hard in the chest, her nails digging into his arm as she ranted about disrespectful millennials ruining everything. The cadet stumbled back, the metallic tang of adrenaline flooding his mouth. But he held his ground, trained to de-escalate. What kind of person attacks someone in uniform over a parking spot? The absurdity hung in the air like a bad joke. But this was no laughing matter. The commotion echoed across the lot, the crunch of gravel under feet mixing with Susan's escalating tirade. "I'll have your badge. Your superiors will hear about this," she bellowed, her face flushing crimson, spittle flying as she jabbed a finger at his chest. Jake's breath came in short bursts, the sun beating down making sweat bead on his forehead. But he remembered his training: stay calm, don't engage. Around them, the base buzzed with life, soldiers jogging in formation, the faint whir of helicopters overhead, but all eyes were turning toward this unfolding drama. Susan, fueled by her misplaced rage, swung her purse wildly, clipping Jake's shoulder with a thud that made him wince. The impact sent a jolt through him, a sharp pain radiating down his arm. But he didn't retaliate. Instead, he exhaled slowly, whispering to himself, "This can't be real." Just then, a twist unfolded that no one saw coming. Jake's phone buzzed in his pocket, a reminder from his squad chat about an upcoming drill. But Susan spotted it and snatched at it, accusing him of recording her without permission. Her paranoia kicked in like a storm, her voice cracking with fury. "You're filming me. That's illegal. Give it here." She lunged again, her perfume, a cloying floral scent, overwhelming Jake as she grappled for the device. He dodged, the phone slipping from his grasp and clattering to the ground with a sickening crack. The screen shattered, spiderwebbing like veins under pressure. And Jake's stomach dropped. That phone held photos of his family back home, his mom's encouraging texts. How could this escalate so fast? The air thickened with tension, the distant bark of a drill sergeant adding an ironic underscore to the scene. Enter the cavalry, or rather, Jake's senior officers, who happened to be nearby reviewing training logs in a shaded pavilion. Colonel Marcus Davis, a grizzled veteran with salt and pepper hair and a no-nonsense stare that could freeze lava, overheard the shouting first. His boots pounded the asphalt as he approached, the medals on his chest jingling like chimes of authority. "What in God's name is going on here?" he thundered, his voice booming like artillery fire. cutting through Susan's screams. Beside him strode Major Elena Ramirez, a sharp-witted Latina officer with a reputation for zero tolerance on base disruptions. She pulled out her own phone, starting a video recording with a swift tap, her eyes locking onto Susan like a hawk on prey. Susan whirled around, her bravado faltering for a split second as she sized up the newcomers. But oh! Her ego wouldn't back down. "This boy assaulted me. He pushed me and tried to steal my spot," she lied through her teeth, her voice quivering now with feigned victimhood. The lie hung heavy, the metallic scent of car exhaust mingling with her growing sweat. Colonel Davis's eyebrows shot up, a deep sigh escaping him as he crossed his arms. "Ma'am, I've got eyes. I saw you swing at him. That's assault on a military personnel." Jake stood there, rubbing his bruised shoulder, the sting a constant reminder of the insanity. Major Ramirez chimed in, her tone laced with controlled anger. "And lying about it? That's not helping your case." The officer's presence shifted the dynamic, the air crackling with impending justice. But Susan doubled down, her entitlement bubbling over like a pot left too long on the stove. "You can't talk to me like that. I pay your salaries with my taxes. I demand to speak to your superior," she spat, her hands trembling as she pointed accusingly. "The audacity!" Colonel Davis let out a weary chuckle, the sound low and rumbling, shaking his head. "Lady, I am the superior. And right now, you're on federal property, assaulting a cadet. Security!" He signaled to nearby MPs, their radios crackling to life with urgent chatter. Susan's face drained of color, the realization dawning like a cold splash of water. What had she gotten herself into? The twist deepened when Major Ramirez reviewed her quick footage, clear evidence of Susan's aggression, Jake's restraint shining through. As the military police arrived, their vehicles pulling up with flashing lights that painted the scene in red and blue strobes, Susan's panic set in. She backed away, her heels scraping the pavement. But it was too late. "This is outrageous. You'll regret this," she cried, her voice breaking into sobs now, the facade cracking. Jake watched, his heart racing, a mix of relief and pity washing over him. The MPs cuffed her gently but firmly, the click of the handcuffs echoing like finality. Colonel Davis turned to Jake, clapping him on the back with a firm hand. "You handled that like a pro, son. Proud of you." The praise warmed Jake, cutting through the chaos, the faint smell of gun oil from the colonel's uniform grounding him. The interrogation room later that afternoon was stark, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry bees, the air stale with coffee and paperwork. Susan sat there, her makeup smudged, defiance waning as the officers laid out the charges: assault, disorderly conduct, and trespassing on military grounds. Major Ramirez leaned in, her voice steady but laced with emotion. "Why would you attack a young man just doing his job? He's serving our country. And you treat him like dirt?" Susan stammered, tears streaming. I didn't mean. It was just a parking spot." But the evidence was damning, eyewitness accounts from other soldiers, the shattered phone, and that video spreading like wildfire among the base personnel. Here's where the karma hits hard. Susan's outburst wasn't her first rodeo. A quick background check, prompted by her nephew's embarrassed confession, revealed a history of similar incidents. She'd been banned from local stores for harassing employees, even had a restraining order from a neighbor. The officers exchanged glances, a collective sigh filling the room. "This ends today," Colonel Davis declared, his tone final. Susan was arrested, her SUV impounded, and word got back to her family. Her husband, mortified, arrived to bail her out, but not before lecturing her in the lobby, his voice hushed but furious. "Susan, When will you learn? This could ruin us. Back on base. Jake debriefed with his squad. The camaraderie wrapping around him like a warm blanket. Laughter erupted as they replayed the story. The tension releasing in waves. Dude. You took that hit like a champ, one buddy teased. Slapping his back. But beneath the jokes, a deeper emotion stirred, gratitude for the support system that had his back. Major Ramirez pulled him aside later. Her eyes soft. Jake. Incidents like this remind us why we serve, to protect. Even from the unexpected. You've got a bright future. He nodded. A lump in his throat. The day's events replaying in his mind like a movie reel. As for Susan, the consequences piled on. Charged formally. She faced community service, anger management classes, and a hefty fine that drained her savings. The viral video, leaked anonymously, exploded online. Her face mimified as "Parking Lot Karen." Comments flooded in, "Karma served military style," and "Don't mess with our troops." She lost friends. Her social circle shrinking. The isolation biting like winter wind. In a bitter twist, her nephew, inspired by Jake's composure, decided to enlist himself, turning her folly into his motivation. "Aunt Susan, maybe you should try some discipline," he quipped during a tense family dinner. The silence deafening. Months later, Jake stood at attention during a promotion ceremony. The sun glinting off his new insignia. Colonel Davis pinned it on, whispering, "Remember today, Cadet. Strength isn't just in battle, it's in restraint." The applause thundered. A symphony of pride and unity. Susan, watching from afar on a news clip, felt the sting of regret. Her life forever changed. What a wake-up call. In the end, this tale isn't just about one woman's downfall, it's a reminder that entitlement crumbles against true honor. Stand tall. Show respect. And justice will prevail, because in a world full of Karens, the real heroes are those who serve with grace. And hey, next time you park, think twice, you never know who's watching.